Say hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our day.
Welcome to our day.
Good boy.
All day rock and roll.
That was the best. Hi. So a couple of times now we've turned and said that we've got some private stuff going on that we can't talk about at the moment just because of what it is, but when it all gets sorted, which will probably be next year, unfortunately, we are going to talk about it. So I've just had my GP contact me about the whole situation, which we knew was going to happen anyway, and just offering support and letting us know what she's going to do from her end. Obviously, she asked if, like, Sophie and I have any support, and I turned and said what the mental health team have done to us. They've just discharged us without even saying and not even contacting us to communicate. And obviously we were asking to see if she could re-refer us back to them. And she's turned around and said that COVID hasn't helped, which COVID's not helped anything, but in the last 6 months alone, there has been basically all but a handful of people just discharged from the mental health team, where they've just assumed they've had a bit of a good blip. Oh, let's get rid of them.
Yeah.
Or, oh, they've not rung in 2 weeks. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, because, like, during lockdown and stuff, they can't necessarily do face-to-face appointments. They are clearly just assuming that people are fine, which a lot of people with mental health problems,
They go quiet when they're not fine.
Yeah, exactly. And so they've just discharged all these people, like the majority of the people on their books, and they were overwhelmed with the amount of people on their books. So
They just
that just
signed them off and
yeah. So that just tells you like how many people there are
needing support. And she turned and said that she's not going to refer me back because so many people have needed to go back to the mental health team and not appropriate, baby girl. The mental health team have said, oh, well, they've coped to this length of time, then we're not going to take them back. So it's then left people struggling, and a ton of people have committed suicide in our town.
To the extent that she's not willing to refer us back because she's concerned that
Of my mental health and history.
Exactly. So
for those that don't know, like, I used to be quite fit and healthy. I was working in a hospital, training to be paramedic, whatever. My asthma got really, really bad, and then a whole bunch of other conditions come along with it, and then I got really sick. And then in 2015, I became a full-time wheelchair user. 2016, on oxygen full-time, and I couldn't cope with it. I wanted to be able to just get out of bed and walk. I wanted to just go out and walk the dogs and God knows what else. And I couldn't.
and, like, even like littler things like
Yeah.
to the toilet, for example.
Yeah. Get into my chair without help, because in the beginning I needed help. And I took it hard, and I tried to commit suicide God knows how many times. And in the end, I did go into a mental health hospital, and I was in hospital altogether for about 6 months. And I've been under the service since that point, because they've always sort of said it's not a trauma that has just happened, therapy can help, and you may be able to move on. It's a continual thing. So every time my lungs play up, it can re-trigger stuff. Every time my legs don't want to work, it can re-trigger things. Every time I walk into a hospital.
So it's supposed to be an ongoing support that you were supposed to have basically for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And Alba, no, that hurts.
Like off.
And they just discharged me. And obviously because of my history with attempting suicide and how bad they've been and whatever else, she's not willing to risk having another suicide on her hands. Well, not kind of her hands but her not, because she's a GP at the end of the day. She feels like she should help people, which is why she signed up for her job. She's a doctor because she wants to help people, and with these people she's not been able to do it. The system has let them down. There's only so much GPs can do, and like we said the other day, there is things like Outlook and whatever else the other one is, I can't remember, like community stuff. But if they find out that you've been self-harming or you have attempted suicide or something like that, they refuse to look after you. They say that you're too sick for them, but then the mental health team say you're not sick enough. So you're kind of left in this limbo of the GP trying to help you, as well as the GP trying to help the rest of your catchment area.
And like hearing that so many people with the mental health problems that have been discharged have committed suicide, we used to spend quite a lot of time up at the local resource centre that a lot of those people went to, and you just think how many of those people that you met and had a conversation with and
are no longer there
because the service let them down. Like they used to have open days twice a week where anybody who had been on their books, even if you weren't currently, you could go in there and spend time in there for hours.
So there's people there that had been going there for years.
Yeah, and obviously those services stopped, so these people
have been left with
nowhere
to go,
nothing and no one.
Often they live on their own, and yeah, it's just like when she turned and said that referring me to the mental health team could be more detrimental to me
that's ridiculous.
Is shocking. Like, that's not how it should be. You should be able to be referred to a service and get the support that you need at times like when we need it. And now as a result, because of their actions, not only do we get the appropriate service that we should get, but many people who was asking for help never got it.
Exactly, that's the thing. They tell you to ask for help, but then when you actually ask for help,
which takes a lot of courage for a lot of people,
it
just doesn't happen. And it's just shit. It's really shit. So
I've got so many different emotions going through me right now that it's very hard to process each one individually.
Yeah. It's just heartbreaking, because when you are within a community, you get to know people. Like, even on Facebook, I know so many people in the chronic illness community that when you suddenly see that they've passed away, like, you don't know them personally, but you know them via social media and you've had conversations with them, and then suddenly it's just they're not there.
And you understand things that they go through, even if it's only like to a certain extent. You have these things that there's a lot of people out there who they don't understand, but you have that sort of understanding. And
so yeah, if you are somebody who is struggling, please reach out to somebody. Like, you can reach out to us. We may not be able to answer at that point when you need somebody, but we will try our best. We've got like our social media handles in the description. I will put in the comments section some resources. I will try and find stuff for some of the areas that I know people watch our vlogs from, so that if you do need help, you can reach out to these people.
And if you do reach out to us, please say in your initial message that you came from the vlog, because we do get
so many random
people who,
when you put your life out there on the internet, you get weird people messaging you. So just let us know where you've been directed from. But there are services out there. Sometimes it's not the ones that we fully need, but at least they're somebody to bridge that gap whilst you're waiting for something else. But yeah, just know that you aren't alone. There are millions of people going through stuff just like you, and there is this support if you can manage to contact them. But also, just please, like, contact your GP or your family doctor or the pediatrician or something like that, and just let them know that you're struggling.
And if you do speak to your GP and they're not particularly helpful, try and, I know that it makes it even harder because we've been in the same situations before, try and ring a different day or speak to a different GP in your practice.
They might have different knowledge of
different
things.
understandings, different people.
Our GP, because of the whole situation going on, they've actually put together a mental health pack with some information in YouTube videos. So I'm getting them to email that over to me. But it's just crap.
I don't know whether to burst out crying with anger and upsetness, and oh my god,
it's just really shit. The time when mental health team's supposed to help the world at the moment, not just certain people going through things, it's everybody. People that aren't used to needing to be in lockdown or shielding like us. Just a few weeks in lockdown, and people have been struggling with that.
Yeah.
So everybody can become victim of mental health.
Oh, yeah.
It has it's got no gender that it likes, no sexual orientation that it likes, no specific person that it likes. It will just attack.
It just,
and you're no less of a person just because you fight mental health.
No. And just expanding from that quickly, you're no less of a person if you take medication to manage mental health, or if you have to do treatments or therapies or anything. If you need that help and that supports you and helps you, you are doing amazing at trying to help yourself, because that is one of the hardest things in the world.
Asking for help is the first step, and that can be one of the hardest things you go through in your life.
Yeah.
But just know there are resources out there, even if the mental health team that's supposed to be doing stuff doesn't. But take a look in the comment section. I will try my best to find whatever resources possible around the world. But we're going to get on with the rest of our day. Yeah. But we just wanted to share that with you. So thanks for coming on, Davis. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.